Well, hello everyone. I'm Cothrix, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit something different. I'm going to do a let's play of a game that people have been asking me to do. And don't worry, I'm not turning into a let's play channel. It's just something that I wanted to do. Maybe I'll do some more if this one does successfully. But here it is, Angels with Scaly Wings. Oh boy. I don't know much about this game. As far as I know, it's like a dragon dating sim or something, which sounds pretty awesome. So let's get into it. Boy, detecting user profile. User profile not found. There's a reason for that. Cothrix. Yes. Enter. Choose a color. Okay, I guess I'm blue. Oh, Jesus. Does this look right? Yes, sure. Okay. Year's 20XX. Uh-oh. Is this a Mega Man game? Only recently has humanity discovered a portal that leads into a different world, populated with a race of intelligent talking dragons. I was one of the few to travel to this world. Wait, so you play as a human in this? But maybe I should start at the beginning. It all began when we discovered a strange device in the middle of nowhere during one of our expeditions. A portal. It's a very lovely portal. I had heard about the similar technology before, though that had been more on an... Oh god, so much text. I guess I should get used to that, huh? That had been more on an experimental level. From what I knew, other portals have been created in the past and were under consideration for mass application. As for this one in particular, though, we did not know who built it, nor when, or why we found it in the wilderness where we did. What was more exciting to us was the fact that it was functional. After our first test, we found that there was someone else on the other side who was in possession of a similar portal, and our attempts at communication through letters were successful. But in the end, the machine's extraordinary demand for power meant we needed to act quickly, as we wouldn't be able to keep the portal open much longer. When we made this known to the other side, we received a very unexpected reply, a letter of invitation. After some deliberation, it was decided to accept their hospitality and send a person to the other side. There was an individual who took the job almost immediately. Yes, I would, definitely. Go to Dragon Planet? Obviously. Reza Izquierdo. Okay, that's too much of a name for me. I'm just gonna call him... Never mind. I knew him, or rather, had known him. We attended the same school and even had a few classes together. We never really were very close friends, but we talked to each other occasionally and hung out with the same crowd sometimes. However, we still went our separate ways in the end. I wasn't sure what to think about this whole thing, but he had to have known what he was doing. He certainly was brave. Either that or just very, very foolish. While I wasn't sure which, his courage was applauded by others. After all, he couldn't possibly have known who or what would await him on the other side of the portal. And if he did meet someone there, who knew what kinds of intentions they might have? Not that any speculation on our part would have made a difference. When the day finally came, through he went, with applause echoing across the area, equipped with the clothes he wore, his multi-tool, a gun, and a device on his wrist that acted as a PDA. Then we waited. The crowd that was applauding him slowly dispersed until the enthusiasm died down. So there was nothing for us to do but wait and speculate. Approximately 8 hours later, we received a first message from him. While we had assumed that the portal led to another in a different country, or maybe on a different continent, the reality turned out to be much more foreign. The situation he described to us was so outlandish that we initially took it as a joke. A very bad joke, maybe, with even worse timing and no punchline at all. It soon became very clear to us, though, that we may just have made one of the most important discoveries since the dawn of mankind. Finding the portal had been remarkable in itself, but this took it to a completely different level. From what he described about the place, or more accurately, its inhabitants, we surmised it could not be part of Earth at all. We called them dragons because, according to Reza, that's what they were, or at least, that's what they resembled the most. Even though we found it hard to believe, it had been these dragons who sent us all the letters, and what Reza found on the other side of the portal was a whole civilization of them. They could talk, write books, had buildings, and electricity. In many ways, their society was actually very similar to our own. So who were they? And where was this place? Could they be aliens? Our speculations led us to conclude otherwise. After all, we knew about the existence of thousands of planets, millions of light years away, that may have been theoretically habitable, yet even though we had never found conclusive proof in regards to actual alien life forms. Some people brought up quantum mechanics and parallel universes, but in the end all that was just conjecture and an ultimately fruitless endeavor, since we neither had the means nor the resources to explore these possibilities in greater detail. I think there's just one more thing worth mentioning before I move on. The previous isolation had been mutual. They hadn't known about any other intelligent life form beyond their own. Their portal had only recently been discovered and was technologically previously unknown to them. And just as we had myths about dragons, they had myths about us. This is what we knew about them so far, and as interesting as learning those things and debating their cultural significance was, we didn't know what we should make of them. Riza apparently was sure of what he was doing, though, as he eventually let us know that they had agreed on a trade. We were to give them a few of our PDA devices, which contained vast amounts of knowledge, dwarfing even that of encyclopedias. In return, they would supply us with generators. Overall, they didn't seem as technologically advanced as we had been, but they did surpass us in one aspect. Their means of generating energy seemed sustainable. Not only that, but evidently also quite efficient. We certainly would be able to put technology like that to good use, and trading mere past knowledge of the human race or something more tangible was a good call on his part. That was where I came in. My prior experience in both biology and sociology made me a good fit to deliver our PDA devices for the trade, and while in the Dragon's world, waiting for the prototypes of our generators to be manufactured by them, I would act as an ambassador on humanity's behalf. What a way to make a first impression by a display of mutual goodwill. Everyone benefits and everyone goes home happy. All is well. At least, that was the plan. Despite the images that living, talking dragons might conjure up in some people's mind, I didn't think of bringing a weapon myself, considering that they were reportedly friendly and peaceful enough. There's no need for me to fear potential ill intentions like Reza did when he had stepped into unknown territory, and acting as humanity's ambassador, I had to do my best to uphold a high standard in fostering this diplomatic relationship. When the time came for me to step through the portal, all my mental preparedness vanished. My anxiousness was fueled by all the questions lurking in my head, just as the machine started to do its work. Would it hurt? Who would I meet on the other side? What if they really weren't so friendly and just made Reza write those letters, with the pretense of appearing friendly, only to lure us into a den of man-eating monsters and certain doom, with us ending up as nothing more than a tasty afternoon snack? Maybe I should have brought a weapon after all. Suddenly I felt a shiver coursing through my whole body and beyond when I disintegrated, as if every cell, every atom of my body was torn from me and pulled into a different direction. I saw darkness and light, painting patterns in the stars as I traveled, and images rapidly flashed before me, things unseen and unspoken. Both horrifying and beautiful, it was an experience unlike any other, yet over in just a split second. Then it was dark. I could only see a patch of lighter color contrasting with its dark surrounding as my vision started to clear. Its edges got sharper as the patch of light slowly took shape, giving me the distinguished outline of a reptilian head and an array of horns sprouting from it. Oh, hello, Malik. It was a dragon. And as I could see now, a dragon who not only had a pair of round glasses, but also wore a burgundy tie around its neck. Remy. Oh, Remy. Hi, Remy. In the name of our people, I bid you welcome. If I may introduce myself, I am Remy, your guide and ambassador, a representative of our council. The dragon spoke. It was one thing to have heard and read about this, but something else entirely to have one standing in front of me, in flesh and blood. And tongue. Sorry, okay. I have a feeling that this is going to get very dirty very quickly. Talking about dragon tongues. And, dragon flesh for that matter. It was good that all my mental preparedness had disappeared when I was teleported, because nothing could have prepared me for this. Sorry, I imagine you might still feel the effects of teleportation. Drowsiness or weakness is not unusual, as is fainting and spontaneous emptying of your bowels, bladder, or stomach. How do you feel? Rendered speechless, I had totally forgotten that I was shouldering the burden of representing my people to them as well. So much for being professional, but at least he gave me a good excuse for my blunder. I think I'm all right. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Maybe we should go before it gets too dark. Come with me, please. So I followed the dragon, not straying too far from him, as the sun had already departed for the day and the remaining light diminished by the minute. It's getting hard to see where I'm going. Sorry about that, but we had a good reason to schedule your arrival like this. We did not want you to be ambushed by the crowd, so we had to keep your exact time and date of arrival secret. Thanks. I suppose an event like this would make me a celebrity of sorts. It would be the same as if one of you came to us. That's quite an understatement. Some people here are rather superstitious. They might regard you or any of your kind as divine, I suppose. I could be a dragon god. Really? How so? We do have certain myths that involve humans, and as such... Oh, I suppose the history lesson will have to wait for another time. Here we are. By this point, it had gotten so dark that I could barely make out the building before us. I briefly wondered whether they might have streetlights elsewhere, or if they did not require any due to possible enhanced eyesight or night vision. I could vaguely see the dragon, his light color still visible within the blackness that engulfed the area, rear up and manipulate the door handle with one of his forepaws. Hinges creaking, the door open, and with the flick of a switch, the apartment was flooded with light, blinding me after all the time he had just spent without it. This is where you'll live for the time being. It's fully stocked, but in case you need anything else, I left you a note with a few phone numbers. It's getting rather late, so I will have to take my leave now. In any case, someone will come meet you in the morning tomorrow. Thank you, Remy. Have a good night. Until we meet again. Okay, so let me just say, I would not feel, super safe in this situation. There's suddenly just dragons about, and they're like, yeah, just stay in this room, we'll be with you in a minute. Seems a little suspicious to me. With a nod, Remy left the apartment, mindful enough to close the door behind himself. Surveying the room, I considered the events that had just transpired as my gaze met the window. I could see movement outside, and as I drew nearer, startled, I could hear footsteps in the grass, moving away quickly, assuming it must have been the dragon I just met. I thought nothing of it, and went to bed and slowly succumbed to the sweet allure of sleep overdue. Yeah, I wouldn't be sleeping either. I'd be like, fuck being late. I'm gonna go meet with the dragon nightlife. You have clubs around here? I spent a few moments thinking about my role, my mission, and what it meant to be here now. Yeah, forget the mission. Oh, it's a choice. Okay. I was eager, yeah. Eager for something. So many possibilities and prospects raced through my mind. Truth be told, the thought of being able to meet an entire new species and civilization excited me, as I was going to be one of the first to truly experience their society within its own little quirks, differences, and similarities. I couldn't help but feel like some sort of modern Vasco da Gama or Marco Polo. Maybe I would even write a book about the whole experience after it's all over. I was sure it would become a hit, all things considered. At any rate, this was going to be fun.